Hello dear ones, it's Alice. I'm of the stars. I thought I'd explain something about the radiation storm that occurred yesterday. Radiation storms, I found in my own personal experience, cause a feeling almost like the apocalypse, subdued, but a little like that. I think they're one cause of concerns about catastrophes and the end of the world and so forth. And my own take on it is that radiation storms send X-rays from the sun to Earth, and X-rays cause mutations in our body cells. Those mutations may be beneficial and may help our species to survive on Earth, and they may be the opposite. They may be lethal or someplace in between, someplace that doesn't really matter. Now, this is most important to human beings in terms of their semen and their eggs, because if the DNA in semen or in eggs mutates because of X-rays, then are involved in creation of a child, then that child may have genetic defects, or it may turn out to be a genetic superperson, or just very different from its parents, and there may be questions of paternity or so forth. So that's to do with human beings. Now, the situation with regard to X-rays from solar flares that occurs in our large intestine, in our colon, as the radiation storms gust through Earth's atmosphere, is much more extreme. The problem is that in our colon are a plethora of organisms that call our colon home. As you may know from my prior work, bacteria that live within our colon are extremely intelligent beings that in fact engineered the larger beings that they live in so that they would have protection from the harsh environment of Earth a long time ago, and it was they, amongst others from other planets, that created or influenced the creation of the streams of life forms that evolved on Earth. You can read up on that in my website, Awakening with Planet Earth, https://awakeningwithplanetearth.com. That has to do with the Martian archives. Getting back to these Martians who are very intelligent and who know a ton about genetic engineering and who maintain and upgrade our immune system within our bodies in great emergencies such as the COVID epidemic, create a way for us to endure new insults to our bodies here on Earth. Here they are, imagine, in the colon, right? And then the radiation storm comes in, and these beings are only one cell big. They're one cell big. If there's a genetic material mutation, then it will affect the entire organism, and they reproduce very quickly. So those of them that reproduce asexually after being mutated by a radiation storm, all of their offspring, their asexually produced offspring, will have the genetic mutation, whether for good or for bad. Okay, now bacterial colonization of our colon involved not just free-form beings inhabiting there, but also a number of social systems, bacterial social systems that help maintain quality of life for the beings that live in our colon, bacterial beings, okay? I mentioned the assistance that they give to our immune system during epidemics and upgrades to the immune system to deal with ongoing and new threats. They also have trouble within their own ranks with regard to what you might call rogue operators, rogue Martians. And these rogue Martians don't fit in with the Martian culture within our colon, what they call their space station. That's our colon. You see, they came from Mars on meteorites, and that those meteorites landed on Earth with viable Martians in them. And those Martians, in some cases, were extremophiles, like all the Martians that are now on Mars because of the stripping of the atmosphere there, right? So the Martians that came to Earth, some of them were able to revive. And that's what they were counting on, okay? And very quickly they adapted to the environment on Earth, which was completely different from the environment on Mars at the time. They were free-ranging Martians. They were 3 or 4 billion years ago, the very first life forms here. So they had to deal with quite a bit of trouble, and especially as evolution continued, insect life, which was influenced by another star system's donation of life form information to Earth, created the social insects, specifically the dreaded ants. And those ants were a terrible trouble to the free-ranging Martians, bacterias on Earth. They were like Godzilla. They were that large, giant Godzilla beings, and voracious and determined to be the predominant, lording it over everyone, life form on Earth. So the Martians, freeform Martians, decided to gather together and create beings in which they could live that would protect them from ant colonies, if you follow me, which kudos to you if you have so far, because no one on Earth understands this. So if you're listening, you're beginning to get a glimmer of what really went on in those 3 or 4 billion years during which the Martian bacteria have shaped the evolution of life on Earth. They used to be two-legged and shaped a little like human beings, but they were good at micro-miniaturizing, and they couldn't accomplish space travel on meteorites without being micro-miniaturized and encapsulated, and that is what occurred. The beings that arrived on Earth contained all the knowledge of the Martian civilization, but they were micro-miniaturized and encapsulated. That encapsulation proved insufficient, and that's why they began creating other life forms. You know the evolution of life on Earth according to Darwin, right? So behind that, before that, we have the Martians. And ushering this chain of life along all through the ages have been the Martians. Some of the life forms that evolved, considering the radiation storms and the changes in evolution and so forth, were suitable to their use as space stations, and others were not. We humans are very suitable, okay? And we have longer lifespans than many mammals. And so those Martians who are specialized to inhabit the human colon have time to develop social systems that help to maintain us as viable life forms in this lifetime, in this body. Okay, so I mentioned the immune system, and now I want to talk about a threat from within that the Martian society faces. There are the free-form Martians that live outdoors, and those come into the body, and they need to be terminated by Martian euthanasia corps, okay? And that is because their personalities and their genetic material and their form, their shape, don't assist the existing prior colony in maintaining their space station. That'll be me or you. You're their space station, okay, for the Martians that are within your colon. And they help you by helping to maintain your immune system. But they have threats within the colon that they have to deal with too. One is the free-ranging, you could think of them as robber baron or Genghis Khan or what's in it for me, brigand Martians that come in. They don't have any concern for Martian socialization or society. No concern whatsoever. They're in it for themselves. They'll eat other Martians, They'll bore into the intestine and get into the body and kill a person. They don't care, They have no morals, no Martian morals. And the other is this issue, one of the others is this issue of X-rays incoming because of solar radiation storms, okay? Say you have no robber baron Martians in your colon and the radiation storm starts, and suddenly some of the Martians, the one-celled beings that live within your colon, start to mutate, right? And within your body you have the Martian euthanasia corps. Euthanasia corps really means they have to end the lives of those beings that have mutations that are not beneficial. I mentioned genetic engineering of Martians, right? And their ability to figure out which mutations are helpful to them and to their society and which mutations are not helpful. And so the incoming radiation storms offer a constant opportunity to hone those genetic engineering skills, because within their own ranks they have individuals who mutate during the storms and who either pose a threat or offer a blessing to the existent Martian community. And the euthanasia corps must go in and eliminate those beings amongst the Martians who have mutated in a manner that's not beneficial. Now, here's the macro perspective from the point of view of the space station, of me and of your space station, for the flora and fauna within your colon, okay? It seems like panic is happening. You may hear, I'm being COVIDized, you may hear a threat of home invasion. You may hear that you're likely to die. You may hear that other people are gonna kill you and so forth. And these are all thoughts amongst the Martians in your colon, in your gut brain, right? Your gut brain is disturbed and upset because former friends are suddenly enemies and everyone's in danger, and the euthanasia corps is ramping up and trying to eliminate the threat to the existing colony. So those are the telepathic murmurs coming up from what psychologists mistakenly call the subconscious mind, which is in fact the cogent conscious mind of the Martian colonists of the human colon. Okay. So you're going about your day and there's a radiation storm happening, and let's say that something happens to your mind, okay, that causes you to have a feeling that's in sync with the minds of the upset Martians in your colon. Let's say you're viewing a very scary movie, for instance. This reinforces the feelings of the Martians, and it may cause a synchronous event that connects the lower consciousness with the higher consciousness and causes you, the human space station, to act out in a way that's not beneficial for anybody, okay? So you have to be certain during times of radiation storms not to watch scary movies. That's just one instance. Another thing is, here's somebody else over here in your very own household who's having a similar experience in their gut brain. They're not too aware of it maybe, and they start drinking. And suddenly the gut brain takes over the actions of that person, and something very unfortunate happens in the household. Somebody gets shot, maybe just winged, on the arm or the leg, but the person is waving a pistol, and suddenly the pistol goes off, and the person that lives with them is injured. Okay, so during a radiation storm, you want to be very careful to take whatever guns are in the household and lock them up somewhere, and put the key in an inaccessible place, especially someplace where the person who's drinking can't get to them, Okay, here's a third situation, acting out. You're feeling on top of it. You haven't watched any bad movies, you don't have any trouble in the household, and you think you'll go out shopping, right? So you're cruising down the street in your car, and suddenly someone turns a corner into your ongoing lane directly in front of you, and you have to take an evasive maneuver. Why did that happen? Because they're in a position similar to that household member who starts drinking, or similar to you when you watch a scary movie and fall into sync with this disturbed Martian population. They've done something like that that's caused them to be in sync, and they're acting out, and they're not thinking straight at all. The Martian agony in their gut brain has taken over their steering wheel, okay? These are two examples. I hope this is helpful. The troubles of radiation storms and X-rays. The Martians know, and genetic engineers know, that
how much radiation storms have influenced the evolution of life on Earth.
Because they keep changing the life form population. But they don't know that there's a guiding hand there. The very first beings here, the ones that know the most, they remember their entire history, including their history on Mars. So they don't know how to work with those beings in order to accomplish what they want to accomplish. They could just ask the Martians to help them. And the Martians could come up with cures to all kinds of diseases. But there are no alliances like that right now on Earth. There are no telepaths good enough to talk to the Martians, to talk with the other animal populations, and to achieve harmony on Earth and forward evolution. It takes the sun itself to do that, and the sun is doing it right now. We're all arising here on Earth, so everything is going to change. Well, that's a recap mostly, but it also had to do with my experiences yesterday. So I thought it might be helpful to you. You may be wondering why it is you feel that COVID threat, even though COVID is no longer a threat, or you feel like you might die in the middle of the night, or you feel like your husband might be a mortal threat, or like that. These thoughts come up during radiation storms, and they have to do with the upset of the beings that help to maintain our health, that live in our colons. All right. God bless you all and keep you safe, and be with you through all your days in love, light, and joy. This is Alice B. Clagett. I am of the stars, and you are too. Come and visit me at my wonderful, world-class WordPress website, Awakening with Planet Earth. Good luck in riding the tides, the solar tides in the coming days. Space weather says that there's a sunspot over on the left side of the sun image on their website, spaceweather.com. There's a sunspot over there that's spitting out X flares right now. But I guess you've noticed that really active sunspots way over here on the left have, by the time they get over here on the right into the Earth's strike zone, they seem to have become far more mild-mannered. It's like Superman and Clark Kent. This happens over and over again. Once in a while, there's a Superman that persists all the way over to the strike zone, the Earth footprint side. And so we'll see. In the coming 3 more days from now, we'll know if this is so or not.